You're a first-time home buyer. You're getting excited. You're out there on Zillow looking at homes. You may even have your approval letter. You're getting ready to start the American dream. Biggest problem is we're not taught how to do this in high school. We got to figure it out for ourselves. Hi, I'm Travis Henderson. I'm a realtor with Arkansas Property Management and Real Estate in Central Arkansas, and I want to help keep you from making one of the biggest mistakes I see first-time buyers make. First-time buyers are recommended people that are maybe relatives, a friend of somebody, or maybe just somebody calls you up on the phone. You want to make sure you know who you're working with before you sign anything. You have your buyer's agency agreement, they stick it in your face and they're like, sign here. Who are you working with? What are their skills? Are they somebody you even mesh with? There's big questions you need to ask before you choose somebody. It's not just first come, first serve. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 questions I think every first-time buyer should ask. I believe every buyer should ask this before they work with a realtor. So let's get started. As a first-time home buyer, you may not realize this, but not all agents are the same. We're not equal. We don't do the same thing. As a first-time home buyer, you may not realize this, but not all real estate agents are the same. We're not equal. We all do different things. And that's why these questions are so important. These questions aren't meant to be a gotcha question to trip somebody up. They're meant for you to be able to understand who you're working with, if you can trust them, if they communicate well, if they have a local knowledge. You want to know that before you sign anything. And asking these questions, they're super important. So I'm going to give these 10 questions to you right now. This question might seem obvious, but it's one that a lot of people just skip because it makes them feel awkward asking. You need to ask this because experience does matter. Especially for a first-time home buyer, you're going to have a lot of questions through the process. You're going to want someone who knows the real answers and doesn't just guess at it. Now, truthfully, experience doesn't always equate to years of service or how many transactions you've done. Some newer agents, they're well trained, they're dedicated, they're hardworking. What you really want to know is this person going to know what to do when things go wrong? Because truthfully, I've never had a transaction that went perfectly. There's always a little kink somewhere. So you want to make sure you know you're working with someone who can answer those questions. Some agents like to work with sellers, some agents like to work with buyers, some like to do both. Neither is automatically better or worse, but for a first-time home buyer, you want to make sure you're working with somebody that knows the buying process from beginning to end. You work with somebody that knows how to write a competitive offer, that knows how to negotiate well, that knows how to navigate the inspection process. You want to work with somebody that has your best interest at heart. I work with both buyers and sellers, but I love working with first-time buyers. And that's because I love the education process. I love to teach people something they don't know and to make them a more well-rounded buyer. So I love first-time buyers. I love helping them get through the process. It's always a great experience for me. This one's a big one, especially if you're relocating from out of state. Central Arkansas is a large area, and there's a lot of different communities. You have your Little Rock, you have North Little Rock, then you have your suburbs like Jacksonville, Cabot, Maumelle, you have Benton and Bryant, you have all these different communities, and you want to make sure you work with somebody that knows the area, that knows the specific neighborhoods, the school districts, what's going to be the best for you. So asking specific questions about what the agent knows about the community is not a bad thing. It's something that's going to help you find out their knowledge level and make sure you make the right choice. Real estate moves fast. When the right house comes on the market, you might just have hours, not days, to go see it and make a decision. You need to know how your agent communicates and whether their availability matches your needs. Some agents like to communicate via text and will respond within minutes. Others like phone calls. Some like emails. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's what the best fit is for you. So if they're an agent, you need to ask them, how well do you communicate? If they're hard to get a hold of, you need to know that, because you don't want to be out there on a Saturday afternoon and find the house that you want to go see and they're not available. You need to make sure that they communicate well with you, that fits for you, and that you know their availability before you start the whole process. This question catches some first-time buyers off guard. Now, in some offices, you'll meet with one agent who then passes you on to a buyer specialist, or there might be a showing agent. There might be different people on that team. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you deserve to know who you're actually working with day to day. Now, a good answer to this question is total clarity. You should know who to call when you have a question, who's going to be showing you houses, who's going to be negotiating for you. If the agent answers, it depends, you need to come back with further questions to make sure you know exactly who you're working with. This used to be a question that people were afraid to ask. Now, with the recent changes in the real estate industry, this is one of the most important conversations you can have. In Arkansas, buyer's agents are typically compensated through commission. And with the recent industry changes, how that's structured and who pays it has become more transparent. Your agent should walk you through exactly how their compensation works, what you might be responsible for, and how it's documented. So, a good answer to this question is transparency. A good agent isn't going to dodge this question. They should explain exactly how they get paid, whether the seller typically covers it, and what happens if the seller won't, and how it's laid out in the agreement. Speaking of this agreement, before you sign anything, you should know exactly what you're signing. Buyer's agency agreement is a contract between you and the listing firm. It establishes who you're working with, how they're getting compensated, and the terms of how that relationship is going to work through the process. Your agent should be able to explain this to you in plain English, walk you through every key point, and answer every question without making you feel rushed. If the agent's sliding a paper in front of you and saying, just sign here, that's a big red flag. Now, to help you out, I made a video walking through every paragraph of the buyer's agency agreement here in Arkansas so that you know exactly what you're signing before that comes in front of you. What you want to know is how the agent thinks when it's time to move. How they know if the house is priced right. How are they going to write the offer? How are they going to handle multiple offer situations? This is where you start to find out how the agent thinks, whether they're going to advocate for you or just tell you what you want to hear. What a good answer to this sounds like is it's very specific. They're going to tell you how they pull the comps. They're going to tell you how they're going to write the offer and the strategy. They're going to tell you how they helped buyers win in the past and how they protected buyers from overpaying. These are things that you need to know. A lot of times, first-time home buyers think the hardest part is finding a house and making an offer. The truth is, there's a whole second half to this. You got your inspections, you got your appraisal, you got your title work, you got your insurance, you got your final walkthrough, you got closing, and all this can get complicated. Ask your agent to walk you through what happens if you're under contract. You want to make sure that agent's going to be with you through the whole process and not just handing you off to a transaction coordinator and disappearing. A good answer to this sounds like a clear, confident overview of the process from contract to close. And bonus points if they mention something you didn't even ask about. That shows they're really looking out for your best interest. Asking for a reference isn't just for a job interview. It's completely reasonable to ask an agent if you can speak to somebody they've already worked with. Any good agent is going to be happy to connect you with a past client. If the agent is defensive or evasive about this, pay attention to that. A good answer to this question is absolutely. Let me get you a couple names. Simple as that. If they can't do that for you, you need to really pay attention and possibly move on. All right, that's the 10 questions every first-time home buyer should ask the agent before they sign anything or commit to working with them. Now, here's the thing. If you ask me any of these questions, I'm an open book. I work with first-time home buyers all the time across Central Arkansas. I'd love the chance to earn your trust before you sign anything. Give me a call, shoot me a text. No pressure, no pitch. I just want a real conversation about what you're looking for and whether I'm the right fit for you. I help people make smart moves all the time. Let's build your plan. I'll see you in the next video.